everyone, I'm back again with another video for you guys. This time I talked about in, at, and on, and I told you about the differences among the three. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. Hi everyone, Mahdieh Ensafi here, welcoming you to another video here on my YouTube channel, where I teach you all about English language. And you, my friend, you have the best seat in the house for an up-close and personal experience of this journey. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 different prepositions. The other day, I thought about different prepositions that we have in English, and then I looked it up in the search engines, and I saw a lot of people have already talked about them, so I thought maybe I can add a little bit to that, so that, you know, I feel a little better about myself and my teaching skills. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at prepositions. There's 3 different prepositions I have in mind, and there's a bunch of stuff on the internet about them, but I thought maybe I can share my thoughts on them so you guys can also use them whenever needs be. We're going to talk about prepositions in, on, and at. These are prepositions of time and place. You would wonder whether you're talking about Christmas. Is it on Christmas? At Christmas? Should I say on this date? At this date? Or in this date? And why do we say at Christmas anyways? Oh, I already gave out the answer. There you have it. Why do we say in a taxi, but we say on a bus? Why we say at school, but we say at home, and lots of other things about these amazing prepositions. All right, let's start with in. In can be used as prepositions of time. When we look at in, on, and at, we are moving from talking about more general things to more specific. Meaning in is very general, but at is very specific. Let's take a look at in. First, we use in to talk about periods of time, general periods of time, because in is very general. It could be in the future, could be in the past, could be in the present. Did you get it? In the present, in the past. Some examples are in the future. I'd like to finish my studies in the future. I studied very hard when I was your age. I studied very hard at school. You can say I was born in 1996. You can talk about years, decades, and centuries. I was born in 1996, for example. And that's an example. Yes, I won't give away my age. My great-grandparents were born in the 19th century. You want to use in when you're talking about all the cities and countries. When you talk about seasons. You can say in summer, in winter, in autumn, or in fall. I love driving in fall because I can see many different colors on the street. I don't like the rainy days in spring. When you talk about months and weeks, you want to use in. In June, in November, in December, in 5 weeks' time, I will be 18 in November. We are going to be free of COVID in a few weeks. General parts of days, examples are in the evening, in the morning, I like to go for walks in the evening. I like to play board games in the afternoon. Except for night. For night, you have to use at night. Okay, let's move on to on. On is more specific, but it's not as specific as at. For example, you can say, I was born on 15th of June, 1996. 15th of November of 1996. Now, when you are using on, generally you use it when there is a day. For example, birthday. I'm always happy on my birthday. On his birthday, he was happy. We also use on to talk about holidays that include the word on Christmas Day, on New Year's Day, on a holiday. A holiday could be any sort of holiday. Family Day, Easter, and a holiday is a day where people do not go to work, they can just stay at home, watch TV, have fun with their families, and have a good time. So on is more general than at. So we don't say Christmas on Christmas Day. Whenever you see day in a sentence, basically you have to say on for that sentence because it has day, on Christmas Day. But for Christmas alone, we use another preposition. We also use on the days of the week, on Monday, on Friday evening, on Saturday afternoon. On is also used for days of the month, on the 15th of April, on the first day of September. Remember, when it comes to date, American and English people tell it differently. Up here in North America, we say May 4th. We say June 1st. But I know that in Britain, they say 1st of June. Or July 1st, 1st of July. I also have a video on all the prepositions where you guys can find and enjoy it. Don't forget to write them down if you want so that you can remember which one is used for which. If I'm using a month only, I can only say in December. But if I say December 15th, December 11th, if I bring the day or date, exact date into the sentence, then I will have to use on. So on usually comes with day or days. Let's take a look at. We usually use that to talk about specific times. For example, at 6 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, at sunset, at the moment. You will often see people saying at this moment in a form of, in a short form, which is ATM. But we usually use holidays without the word day. So we can say at Christmas. So it's on Easter Sunday. Remember, when it comes to part of the day, we have to say at night. We cannot use in anymore. So I can say I always have a light dinner at night. Or I would always like to drink lots of water at night. That was very random. I don't like it. I never do. Unless I want to wake up in the middle of the night and use the washroom. Now let's move on to the prepositions of place. On is used for prepositions of place. They also use the same rules as before and is more general as before, and on is more general and it's usually in the middle between in and at, and that is what makes it easy. Let's start with in again. In general, it is used to talk about countries. I am in Canada right now. He is in Jamaica right now. We also use in to talk about cities. I live in Toronto. I live in London. In general, once again, I stayed in Jamaica. I stayed in Tehran when I was there. I went to Italy. I stayed in Rome. When I was in Italy, I stayed in Rome. We also use in for neighborhoods, usually in larger cities. For example, you can say in London if you're talking about Toronto. It's a beautiful, large area of Toronto, and it's also a big neighborhood. We also use in, and this is not my strategy, but somebody told me that it's pretty smart. We usually use in for enclosed spaces. This is very important to remember because, for example, if you're in a car or you're in a taxi, because you're making your body smaller, you can remember that you want to be in an enclosed space. But when we talk about trains and buses, we talk about trains and buses, of course, later. We don't use in for that because in taxis and cars and small spaces, we tend to crouch down, or we tend to make our body smaller and make ourselves smaller. Then we use it in a classroom, in a house. But with buses, we can say on. Finally, we use in books and newspapers. In the dictionary, I saw that in the newspaper yesterday. Let's move on to the next preposition. This is less general than in, not quite as specific as at. We use on to talk about streets or roads or avenues. For example, on Fifth Avenue, on Atrium Boulevard. We also use on to talk about surfaces, on the ceiling, on the floor, on the roof, on the table. We also use on to talk about floors of buildings. Her office is on the 10th floor, but I am on the 5th, meaning I am on the 5th floor. We use on to talk about public transport, on the bus, on a plane, on a train, but in a taxi, in a car. Remember, train, bus, plane, these are less cramped, these are bigger spaces, they're not enclosed spaces. In general, you can enter them, you can remain, just standing up, and you can think of it that way. If you can go inside something and you can just stay standing up, then you can use on a bus, on a plane. We also use it for communications or media, on TV, on the internet, on the news, on the radio. For example, I had a show on TV a couple of years back. Finally, at. It's very specific, and usually we use at for addresses, specific numbers. For example, at 10 o'clock, at the Red House. Usually in Toronto, most houses have numbers, but sometimes, in smaller villages or in smaller cities, they have some names. Whenever I pass, I wonder, oh, I have to use this preposition for it. Or if I want to use it in a sentence, I think twice. I always lived in buildings and houses that had numbers, but I'm aware that there will be buildings and houses and stuff like that have only name. At is used for specific locations. I am at the bus stop. I am at the museum. I am at the drugstore. I'm at the coffee shop. We also use at for group activities. At a party, at a concert, at a theater, at the theater. An important one to remember is that we use at for home and work. I'm still at school. I'm at university. I have another video that I talked about these specific ones. And whenever you mean you're studying here in North America, we say I'm still at school. I'm at work. I'm at home. We also use at with top, bottom. For example, at the end of the building, at the top of the road, at the top of the page, at the bottom floor. This one is slightly strange. Do you remember I said I have to use one for services? For my laptop, it's on my desk. However, if I'm sitting at my desk, for example, my laptop, for services, we always use on. But if I mean that I'm located at my desk, you can say, oh, I just said it. You have to say at my desk, not on my desk or in my desk. Definitely not at my desk. Don't say that. Also at a table, at a surface, but you put your things on the table or on some sort of a surface. If I sit on the desk, then I would be sitting on the desk. Well, in today's lesson, I only wanted to mention the differences between these three prepositions because for my ELS students, they sometimes mix it up. So it's always good to put that apart when we are talking about prepositions in English. Once again, if you have any questions, you can always leave it in the comments section down below. You can always contact me directly at ensafi.media@gmail.com or at my other social media. Everything is at media.ensafi. My Instagram, my Facebook, YouTube, everything is at ensafi.media or media.ensafi. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like my video, comment, share my video to whoever you think might need it, and share my video with someone. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.